Child. 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 Look at Lee Daniels. Written by Sydney too. Is y'all ready? Hey, my sweet babies. Let me bring the people up. We begin up. Vicky is Secret and Chloe to Soul. Is you ready? Are y'all ready? Are you there? Can I only bring one person? Nope. Accept.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Girl, you ready? That
Yes.
Okay, so just go on and say what you gonna say.
Okay.
Just go.
So first and foremost, I love Monique.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this. So I was expecting out of all the hype, I was expecting this to be like 10 and across the board. You know what I mean? She's always been funny, and to me, like I said in the comments, she's been bullied. Like she's been really put through the ringer, right?
Right.
But this on a scale of 1 to 10, this was a 4. It was
Fair.
a 4. I got it on a funny scale. It was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit disappointed because I fuck with her deep, like I fuck with her tough.
Right.
But then it don't. I think she could have gave a lot more, especially when it came to the comedy. But I think this, I don't. Maybe we were the ones that said this was a comedy show. Maybe this was a monologue,
Right. Let
situation.
me see
Like
how
this
Netflix
wasn't it.
categorized it. I'm sure they said in a special because ain't nobody else doing monologues, and that's the thing. If she was gonna do something like this, then she should have just did a whole put the whole vibe of a monologue together. You know what I'm saying? A one woman show.
Yeah.
My name is Monique. You should know how to spell it. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. A couch, a tree, maybe a pyramid or
Right.
something. You know what I mean?
This could have been a
It's just
book. She could have did it. This could have been a novel, what they call it, autobiography. When you writing it yourself, a memoir. This could
that.
have been one of them, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And I was mad. I was mad because before I saw the clip, I didn't even know it until I saw the clip the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Saying I knew it was coming soon, but I didn't know. And I saw the clip of I don't know. Do you watch like comedy hype on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
I watched it's like a YouTube channel where they put like different comedians and it's like different like comedy news or whatever. Different
Okay.
different like interviews and stuff. And so they were talking about it on comedy hype and Pierre and Capone, they're like, Capone, I know he's been around for years, you know what I'm saying? But Pierre, I don't know how long he been in the game, but he said he been in the game for a long time. And he was saying how, it was just too much cussing. But I'm like, okay, so like everybody cuss. Like, you know what I mean? But to me, I'm like, okay, it was too much cussing. But I'm thinking like, you know what? I literally can't have a sentence most of the times without cussing, especially if I'm trying to make a point. So I
Yeah.
kind of cast that aside, like it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But the thing about it is that I don't think that the stories were cohesive. It made it seem like I was expecting for it to kind of have a little web and flow, and it was
Mm.
just like she was giving little anecdotes of things. And so I'm like, I don't know. And like I said, I ain't did no comedy, but I honestly feel like if if you're gonna have a comedy show, it needs to be laughs in it. I think it was a monologue basically, and she just went in it that way. It was a monologue, and I don't know I don't know where she was going with the whole thing about the uncle daddy. That kind of threw me off. That threw me because I'm like, I thought you were going somewhere with this. That's a comic. That's going to be comedic, but it just ended up being real somber. I'm like, I don't know where you were going with that. And then that whole thing where she said disease. That part I think was like what they call it, a Floridian, what the fuck they call it, whatever the fuck. I think it was like a slip of the tongue because she was
Hmm.
trying to say, I think she was trying to say like they were going to treat it like a disease, but it ended up sounding it ended up sounding like she was calling it one, which I don't think that was intentional. But um I thought she was gonna say that she cheated on daddy, which would have which would have made sense, but they were always in an open relationship. So like I
Right.
figured she would have talked more about her husband, talked more about, the things and the issues that she had to go through in the industry. Like she had a whole hour thing that she could have had so many extra anecdotes, and all she talked about was the fact that she was in special ed and her being big and her liking sex. Like it wasn't enough for me.
Right.
Like
I agree with that. I agree with all of that. As I sit here and I think about it, she sat and talked about some probably if we're going to take some things away, we're going to the takeaway would be the relatable content.
right.
Um, the relatable content is not what I'm expecting from the Monique comedy special. Jesus, you always on. The relatable comedy special. I'm not looking for relatable content like that in a comedy special. Like I said, I want get into the story and maybe it be more based in jokes rather than this sort of story or soliloquy or these types of what I'm saying, that sort of thing. When you doing this comedy special thing, the format didn't fit the 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 message or the her I don't want to say content, but what her jokes were, what her and Daddy sat and wrote at the coffee table or the dinner room table didn't fit what Netflix didn't want to pay her $200 million for. Th- This thing said what they wanted to pay her at the time. She said she was offered $500,000 compared to $20 million each for Chappelle and Seinfeld and 11 for Schumer. The fucking door. But the case was settled last June, and
Right.
within which she agreed to a special with Netflix, which is called My Name is Monique. I didn't see
So
the
what did
price.
she get?
That's the thing. I got to click on it and see if they tell us. And that's the thing. They probably won't tell us. And that's what I'm saying about
I need
everything
to know.
in a situation. Go ahead.
I need to know. Like that needs to be something that I find out because I think now, mind you, I feel like she should have gotten the money that she would have wanted for her special. I think she would have wanted. I think she should. I think she should get that just for the fact that she had to go through all that shit just to get a special in the first place. I feel like she should get her money, but for the quality of it, girl, you could have had that 500,000 and flipped that a few times.
That, no, no,
Like,
no, that's the thing because she got the
dead
means
ass.
and the to flip $500,000. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why
Or
everybody was mad at her because they were like, "Well, you could have took that 50,000, you could have took that 500,000 and flipped that shit three ways. Like you're known. Every I feel like everybody's gonna go to a Monique show. You know what I'm saying? The majority of people they liked her during that time. Probably I don't know how people feel about her now with everything that's been going on since in the past few years since the whole thing with Netflix. I don't know how people feel, but I think if people were in her city, I'm pretty sure she was selling out shows. But
oh, for
she
sure.
could have took that 500,000 and did something with that. I feel at the end of the day.
Or talking about all this boss stuff, and that's just like you be cohesive. You know what I'm saying? And cohesive in your character and your story and where we at right now. And if you was a boss bitch, then you would have took a cue out of Beyonce's playbook and said, okay, you don't have to pay me 500,000, but I'm gonna get some. I'm the royalties, and I'm gonna get in on the back end of all of
Yeah.
this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so you pay me 10 million or everything like that because that's not what I want to do, but you're gonna give me 5-10% of this thing, and that sort of thing, or whatever, maybe even 3 points. I think is how they do it, not percentage, whatever the case may be. That whole thing. Uh, and really, we could. I feel like my perspective on many things. I don't know if you knew here, Chloe the Soul, and I don't think that you are. So you know how I'll be talking. But it's like all of this has been timing. What Monique, her significance in the game and everything like that, or why all of that had to happen with Monique, Lee Daniels, and Oprah. You know what I'm saying? Those are major factors in all of this as well too. For her to have
Yeah.
gotten to that respect and that type of deal with those people with Netflix. Good afternoon. With those people with Netflix, and then still go back to Netflix, and now, like I said, they're probably not going to tell you how much she made Which
Right.
that should be the first thing out of her mouth. I would maybe go to her on Instagram and see if she says something like, "Oh, I got what I wanted" or some shit like that. But even if she
I
says she
don't
got
think.
what
I
she
mean,
wanted and she don't say what she wanted, we're gonna assume that
right.
she got the 10 million she wanted before, but that might not be the case. So again, like Kanye West, these celebrities that are in the game and find themselves in this bullshit are a part of the bullshit and just are, you know what I'm saying? We just being puppeteered into this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because if you such a
Yeah.
boss bitch, your YouTube should be popping. You doing all this
Yeah.
movie, you done lost all this weight, you doing this thing, you want to talk to the people how you talk to the people. Yes, my babies, and yeah, I'm in my relationships and things like that. And this is my man, stuff like that. Your YouTube should be popping.
It
So to do a
should, but I
special
think I always, I don't think it's her. You always thought that it was her husband because I don't like him.
I don't like never
I
like
don't.
Sydney. I never liked Sydney, but
I don't like Sydney. I don't like him. He just rubbed
the
me the
thing that I
wrong
take
way.
away from that, though, when she says that man is raising me, I understand what she's saying. And because the thing, let me just say this: it was not a comedy show, and I'm mad about that. Period.
Hmm.
What I will say is that it was enlightening, or it was revealing of some of the things, or the situation and environment that she found herself in growing up, which leads to her needing a man that is more regulated and regimented and direct and things like that. So yes, I can understand why she will call him deadly because I've never had a man want to come and take care of me like a man wants to take care of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So I get that, and that kind of
Right.
maybe give Sydney a little bit of grace. The whole thing with Sydney and this whole thing is that I don't think he was, and that's the thing about all being in the industry or just being a part of the story. I don't think he ever advises Monique properly because she always comes out. It just never
And that's
is.
my problem because what
Mhm.
kind of man will have you to go back and forth with DL in the way you did it to go so far as to say the
Right,
things that you said. That's the thing because
right.
I'm like, okay, and then it's just like the way you're going about doing certain things. It's like, yeah, he's raising you, but he also is picking and choosing when you can say whatever you're saying. Because if he's raising you, is he telling you to go back and forth and talk about this man's kids like this? Is he telling you to go back and forth and be loud and be belligerent when you don't get your way in a comedy show? Like that's the thing. It's like, come on, like I love Monique Boots, but I have not condoned a few of the things that she has done because I feel like she as a talent and as a woman is better than this. You know what I'm saying? Like I've watched her for a long time and admire everything. But it's
Hmm.
the thing about the fact of it to me when things are being cued to where now I'm not just see you as a talent, I see a little bit of part of your character too. It's like I don't want to feel like I wish I didn't know you personally.
That's
Like that'd be the
exactly how I
thing.
feel about Jennifer Hudson. That is exactly how I feel about Jennifer Hudson. She could sing to me any day. I'm gonna play them albums all the way through, but I don't want to talk to her at dinner.
I
I don't
don't.
want to
That's what
talk
I'm
to her.
saying. I don't. Maybe you know something that because I haven't been following her like that. I just know her for her voice, so I don't even. Well, actually, I don't. Well,
No,
I'm nosy, so I do
when
want to
she did
know.
an interview, she was on Andy Cohen. She did it with Angela Bassett. If anybody wants to go and watch that, and interviews like that, like Hot Ones and Andy Cohen, and now most times interviews, but those intimate type things, especially Andy Cohen and Hot Ones, where it's all about your personality. Yeah, you're going to come and promote your
Yeah,
things, but we want to see how you respond to these questions. We want to see how you respond to the sauce. We want to see how you respond to what people say and things like that. And Jennifer Hudson, I ain't never been so turned off, other than Robin Dixon. I ain't never been so turned off from somebody from watching them on television like I was from Jennifer Hudson in that moment. And that's
wow.
following behind Sydney's lead.
Hmm.
Monique continued to kind of turn you off because like, well, what the fuck do you want? You know what I'm saying? Or what
Right.
do you want your end game to be? Because you've been Sydney, your third husband. That means you've been
Yeah.
in the game two husbands and three kids, or two kids or three kids. I think I
Yeah.
don't know if her and Sydney got kids, but
And the one where you happy at, he's you calling him your daddy, and he's the one that's putting you through the most stuff. We didn't
right.
know nothing about what was going on and the stuff that's been going on before she got with Sydney. Now everything's hitting the fan. So I'm like, how is he raising you, girl? Like, what is he raising you to do? But I mean,
In what way is he raising her? I mean, and that's the thing. because if I'm not going to be hating, then that's the thing that, like I said, that's the thing I take away from it. Whatever that do for her, it do for her. And if I could just be
Yeah.
basic on a human level, if that do something for her, I get that. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. If that's you want to follow him to the ends of the earth because he gonna, rub your lollipop and things like that, girl, I get it. And bring a woman into the bed, I
Right.
get it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how people do things. But as a fan of Monique, everything she done did ever since. Shit, maybe Precious, because even like I said, with the Precious thing was like you knew, and that's Sydney's supposed to be your manager. He should have been the one to tell you. I turned it down, or that's probably was the problem. I think that was the problem. He's like, well, this is not what she's doing. If y'all not gonna come with a number, then she's not getting on a plane, and it starts there. And it's like
Yeah.
there was no you were just gung ho about not getting paid when you've been in the game so long. You should know that sometimes you got to be gracious about some types of things because then things come on behind that and stuff like that. And that to do something gratis in the entertainment industry usually don't go for nothing, especially when you somebody like Monique. Monique is not
Right.
some. She's not just hilarious, and she's not even fucking and she's fucking producing comedy shows. Tiffany
Yeah.
Haddish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's one of the top
She's
comedian
in the
female
game.
comedians that we have,
Yeah.
and her actions and everything like that. And now this comedy special, this comedy show, this monologue really don't fit the bill. So when we talk
It
about
don't.
Netflix not wanting to give her money or even second guessing, her worth and things like that, is valid. The only thing that
Yeah.
Monique has, because she's been in the game 20 years, at least 20 years, because
Yeah.
the Parkers was 15 years ago. At least
Exactly.
she
Her
has a built-in
last,
fan
her
base.
I think her last stand up was the one where she was doing it in the prison. I think that was the last her last one.
Yeah, it
I
was.
think
And
that was
people
her last
people
one.
don't even talk about that. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
I
And that
don't.
was
I mean, I do
iconic.
talk about
Now
it.
that was
Okay.
comedy. That
No,
was
yeah,
real
it was.
comedy. And that's what made me love her because it made me feel like she was authentically like this comedy show is this is I am Monique, but I felt like in a moment I knew part of who she was in that thing because it was comedic. It showed her understanding. It showed her like, down to earth type. So it resonated with me. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? And it's still like, it's still iconic to me, which is why that was why I'm just like, oh my God, Monique got a special. I was excited and all of that.
Right,
Oh, when she was talking, she was cussing and all that type of stuff. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about cussing. Like I cuss all the
right,
time. And so it
right.
didn't bother me, but it made me feel like, okay, you're hating. Like you just want to hate. And that's what I was feeling about people talking about it. But now after watching it, I'm like, all right, Monique, you know damn well you could have did better than this. Like it's hard, it's heartbreaking to me. And it's even more frustrating because it's like you said all this stuff and had all these feelings about this special, and now it's giving monologue, it's giving one woman show, it's giving it should have been in a memoir,
It's not
it's
giving.
giving yawn.
That's it.
It's not giving
Nothing
what it should
gave.
have gave for
No,
what
it's
it
not
was
giving.
worth all this time.
No, seriously, and that's why she got up there and because I've never seen anybody dressed like that on for a comedy show. Her hair and the dress and things like that. So glam is a little bit more laid back, like I said, leather and black or something like that. And that's the thing. That
Oh
was the
no,
most the most effort
she's
that she.
always been dressed though. That's her thing. She's always been dressed, and I feel like if she was uncomfortable, she took them damn shoes off in front of everybody.
Well, no,
So I don't
because when
think
she
that
was
was
on
the
tour,
case. I think this
she
the
was wearing
material.
higher heels when she was on tour. And but that's what I'm saying. Thank God for her hair and the makeup and the clothes and things like that, because then it
Yeah,
wouldn't have
because of
been coming out there on some regular clothes and then talking about some shit like that. It's like, girl, what did we spend our money for? Because I know them tickets was at least $50, if not more.
right. And I think those the laughter I'm starting to feel like it had to be pre-recorded because you know
Yeah.
how when everybody they was talking
Well,
about
right,
Chris
so
Rock
the
special and how
laughter
it was
was
recorded twice.
things like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think they did because I mean, a lot of what she was saying is mostly monologuing and all of that. It was like more of storytelling than actual jokes. And ain't no way you was laughing that hard. Like it's just, I don't know,
Even
man.
if
And
you really
it's kind of mad because I expected so much more.
But we got that, and it was over fast. And all of that work, it was maybe 4 years of all this bullshit between her and Netflix and the things. And it's like, yeah, we get up here now, and this is what I wanted to say too. Now we get up here, and now you have, um, no, I don't want to say you have revealed yourself. Like I said, the things that Monique talked about, we don't know Monique all this time, and we haven't heard any of these things other than her love for her grandmother and the affection that her grandmother showed for her. I never
Right.
knew about the gay uncles and the aunts. I never knew about her going being in a special ed class, and maybe that's me. I didn't pick up on it, and maybe in another special that she said, or I didn't say it in an interview
Yeah, I
that she
never knew
did.
that either.
But I don't know. But that information was new, which takes me to her problem with Oprah when Oprah wanted her on the show, and Oprah reached out to her mother, and Monique didn't like that. So now this whole thing was like, yeah, Oprah's trying to get to the story of your life, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now
Maybe she
you
didn't
want
want
to
it
get
to
back
happen
on the
to her
stage.
because I wouldn't want her telling my story either. You see how she did Michael Jackson?
That ain't that. It's not even about that. It's about the fact that it's Oprah, and if you want to get to where you want to get to, Jennifer Hudson, Michael Jackson, all those people, everybody. If you want to get to where you want to get to, then you play the game, especially in the industry, and that's just what that is. And now, if that's not what you wanted to do, and you didn't want Oprah to tell your story, and you don't want anybody to talk to your mother because you don't want to divulge this level of information about yourself, no, this is the only thing we're going to talk about to get back in the damn game. And that's exactly what happened. Because we've gone this long without knowing these things. What she talked about could help other people, and I'm not taking that away, living in your truth or growing up in that type of setting, relatable content. I'm not taking anything away from that. But not knowing that information and her reconstructing her comedy show to be more comedy, more skinny bitches is evil type thing, you know what I'm saying? Queens of comedy would have been more satisfying. So the intention behind, I think, which is a bigger issue, like up on the top, the intention behind the comedy show was not to give the people a satisfying comedy show. It was to put Monique in a position like this to what?
Mm.
Sure. But it was like, no, you're not about to do this nice comedy thing that no, you're gonna talk about the shit that you don't want to talk about. Monique done been she had her own show. She ain't never had the uncles and the aunts and the things and she never had them on there. She didn't have comedy specials. I no, I don't think I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I ain't heard her talk about the lesbian this and the gay that and
No, I don't
special
think
things
I
like
don't. I've
that.
never heard her talk about it either.
It took this. It's the bigger thing. Why? I don't know. Am I grasping at straws? Probably not, because that kind of what I'm saying kind of makes sense. Not because I'm saying it, but because how it's been played out. And like I said too, the fact that if you're a boss bitch, you didn't talk to you boss bitch this whole time, but you are stagnant at the hands of other people. Lee Daniels probably did some other things, but we didn't know Lee Daniels. We knew you. Tyler Perry did a
Yeah,
lot of things. We knew you before we knew Tyler Perry. We knew you and Oprah around the same damn time. But we knew
yeah.
we knew you before any of these people. We built a better connection with you over all of them. So
Over
you
all
to
of them. Yeah.
to directly connect to your fans, Instagram,
Mhm.
Tubi, anything, because all of those places you could be the queen of Tubi. If
Yeah.
Tyler over at OWN, you could be over at Tubi. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is with Monique too, and that's the thing too. What I do, I know when Monique says certain things, I pick up on them. She want to be called a bitch. Obviously, she like that shit. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna call her man daddy. She live him all the love in the world. He is very important to her. Skinny bitches are evil. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. This is my problem with Oprah, and this is my problem with Tyler Perry. And I want to give my credit to my uncle. Things like that. I pick up on things that Monique says. I lost what the fuck I was saying. Picking up on the things that Monique said, coming from which I wanted to say something that she said in this piece. But you can't. She uh, what the fuck was I about to say about something that she said? It'll come back to me. But well, Tyler.
hit on that point because
Oh,
I
that's the
think
thing. That's what she said. What she said in an interview. I don't know if it was with T.S. Madison or in this interim between being blacklisted and things like that. It was the story is that she came to L.A. and she wanted to be a talk show host. That was the whole thing.
yeah.
She wanted to talk show. She wanted to be on in a chair on a stage with guests and everything like that. She wanted that. That was her thing. The intention was not going to there to get on a TV show. The intention was not to
She
be
could have did that too. I mean, she
clean
could have did that on
comedy.
the YouTube channel.
Say it again.
She could all of those. I said she could have do that. She could have did that on the YouTube channel as well. Like did the whole thing that's the same thing
That's
that
what
T.S.
I'm
Madison been doing.
And this is what I'm saying is that she, we've discussed this before with people that find themselves, not find themselves, we find them selling and pushing and doing these things that it's like, well, that I wouldn't expect that, or I'm not sure about that. And ultimately, those celebrities are not happy because they're just fitting somebody's brand or getting a check or something like that. If Monique intended on getting the TV show that she wanted, but ended up landing the Parkers, and that's why Monique is always looking good because she's doing things she don't want to do, so she got to look good and do it. So if that's what she found herself doing, Monique ain't been happy, which goes to
Yeah.
okay, so now you want me to work too, do this shit. I don't really want to do this, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, and now you don't want to pay me.
Well, okay. I I feel like because of the industry is taxing on everybody, and like you said, you have to play ball, right? And the one time, because I'm pretty sure she's been in the game for a long time, so she's had to have played ball. You know what I'm saying? You know, in that sense, a lot of times just to be able to even keep the show, to even be in the eyes, to be able to get people in the seat, she's had to do that.
Keep the
The one
glam
time that she
team.
doesn't,
That's not to be
oh,
underestimated, because people with big money don't keep it up like Monique keep it up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
But even
that's
with
the
that,
thing.
like, you get tired. That's
Say it
why
again.
I respected it. That's why you get tired, and I feel like I understood that on her on that thing because it's like okay, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I understood the whole thing if she wanted to be with her family. She was talking. I remember she did say in an interview before that she wasn't able to see her sons. You know what I'm saying? They had to see her leave a lot and all that type of stuff. So I remember that and I understood that. But the thing about it is that because of who you are though, because you kept saying, you got a resume, you got a full resume, and people that will stick by you. Because after all of that stuff happened, it was a lot of people that said, "Oh, shut up," you know what I'm saying, "Be quiet," just play or play ball, whatever what they said. But it was a lot of big people who were for her, who was standing in the gap and saying this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And a few people were, it was a few people who was trying to like, I ain't, well, most people they be getting the password from their people anyway. So majority of people who was like, I'm boycotting, like you don't even have an account. But the thing about it is that people it's just she had all of this following and people that were for her. So I felt like she could have maximized that situation so much more. And she had a YouTube. Like it was no reason why she wasn't put into anything. But she's talking about, well, the industry blackball her. Well, who else was really blackballing you? You had Lee Daniels, you had Oprah Winfrey. But I mean, she's part. She had own then. So okay, so you couldn't be on own. You have a whole full thing of YouTube or social media. Like everybody, you know what I'm saying? From the smallest of people have a following and doing bigger things in a short amount of time. In a shorter time that you've been on here, but a lot of people have succeeded you and been on things and making more bank than you at the point, and they haven't even been doing the stuff that you've done. And uh, just hilarious and Tiffany Haddish, to name a few. Like Tiffany Haddish been around for a minute, but she was not selling out. She was not selling out arenas like that. People just not really into her now.
She wasn't even headlining, and now she's producing comedy
Yeah.
shows for Netflix. And that's the and this is the and this so so you
Because
as
she
my mother
played
has
ball, right?
always said, as huh?
Because she played ball. Apparently, you know what I mean. She did what she did what she had to.
Play ball because she's young and because she's impressionable and things like that. That is what Marlon Wayans said to her when she was hosting Ellen, and he said, "Yeah."
Mm.
What he asked him, she was like, "Yeah, I knew you long ago, and you wouldn't put me on the show." And da 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 da. We've been seeing a lot of those Wayans stuff, and then they dad died, so I got to get into the Wayans and see what they got going on. But that So now she's impressionable and malleable and able to do the things and follow the rules the way they want her to follow the rules. And then with that, like I said, as my wheels is turning, as I'm looking at the scape of the entertainment, it's like the shift of the people that have been in and maintained and had a stronghold on their respective industry, Wendy Williams, Kanye West, Monique, that sort of thing, have now had to like eat dirt in the eyes of the media because they don't and they're not, and you know what I'm saying. And now we have all these new people. When it comes to Wendy, shit, you got me, you got Jason Lee, you got the people, you know what I'm saying. And then Kanye is all the producers here, and then there's the young ones over there, and always a new artist or something over there. And now these comedians is all these young things and on the TikToks and the things and the things and the things, and it's like, well, I don't have to work so hard to get you to do this thing when I can get this person who's hungry and ready to do the thing at the same time too, with this humble pie comment. And that's what I'm saying about the industry. It's not even about the humility. It depends like who you know and what you do and who you do it with and things like that. Yes, but it's not even about the humility, because humility, nobody's humble. You know what I mean? They might seem humble, nice, but they're all very. I couldn't think of the word the other day. I can't think of the word today. Um,
Reserve.
no, not reserved. They're very like, to be a celebrity, you have to not be humble. You have to want to be seen. You have to want the attention. You have to be hungry for that because somebody's coming for your position and they might change the thing. So you have to be able to shuck and jive and move the way they want. And you have to be, um, the word I'm looking for, self-centered. So that sort of, at the very least, it has to come with that. Obnoxious too, I think. Yeah, because most it got a little, but that's a different thing.
Or maybe it's just, I mean, because maybe it's not even that. Like maybe you have to really. I think if you have a niche, and I think she did have a niche when she came in here. When you have a niche and when you have a thing, and then you get all of these people who are on board with that, you got a right to be a little cocky because of the fact that you didn't have to come in here as a certain thing. You came in exactly how it was. If you found a niche, you found something that you know what I'm saying people can relate to, can respond to. So it makes you more palatable, and you didn't have to. A lot of people are bending who they are to get in the industry, and that's why you got all these people who now they're having breakdowns, and now they can't because they had to come into the industry being something that they know they're not, going
Right.
against who they are in their spirits, and then now they just that now they're here, so now they gotta do what they gotta do, and it's weighing on them now.
Right.
That's why I think it's just it's a thing, but I don't know. I think and then okay, can I talk about this, please?
About it.
Black people don't really. I love us. I love us for real.
Sometimes.
but but we don't be we keep up with the trends and then turn around and say we don't fuck with them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we keep up with the Joneses while still trying to act like we Florida Evans, like we down to earth. We from the hood, but we really don't really be about it. You know what I mean? Like we don't care in that way. We don't have that type of like. Once we get to a space of prestige, we finally get there. We really do forget the people who got us there. The majority of her backing is black people, but
Hmm.
but in a sense, like you can't even trust in that because we are fickle. We are very fickle people.
I know that people walk out of that atrium auditorium like, I know this bitch didn't make all this fuss about this money from Netflix. They didn't want to give her and then gave us a show
Yeah,
like
and
that.
then this is
I
what
know half
happened.
of you walk out of there like that. And that's the thing.
I,
Seriously, Noble said it's an initiation process. My thing, because I'm all about the initiation process, that is what happens. Humiliation. You might remember when Amy Schumer fell in front of Kim and Kanye on the red carpet that time. Things like that happen very frequently in the industry. The thing that gives me hesitation with that theory in this moment, well, Monique, is that we're so far along her initiation process. It's been happening too long because we talking about post Precious to now. You know what I'm saying? So the initiation process has gone on too long, even though times are changing or whatever, and however they do the things, whatever. But we're past that point. Now, if she get into the $20 million club, and that's when the initiation start and things like that, because you're bringing in the money, you're bringing in the focus. So maybe that's the thing. Now her pockets have leveled up a different, you know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. How, I
Yeah.
don't know. You need to be dropping another movie probably in the summer. You know what I'm saying? To keep up the momentum
Yeah.
of all
Oh,
of this.
and can we talk about the movie she was in? Did you see that?
Which one? Oh,
The
because I watched that.
the
Yes, because
Read.
it was just
That's
like,
what it's
even though that
called.
was better than the damn comedy show. It was
Now
better. It
listen.
was. But it wasn't what I expected from it. Both of those things get me unexpected. It was not satisfying. It was not what I was looking for
Yeah.
when I see Monique on the moniker. That's not what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a
Yeah.
monologue of
But I
colloquial stories or whatever, or I'm not looking for you to be some woman that's hell bent on killing people. Like, I don't know. Now, if anything, if we're not talking about initiation process, we're gonna talk about what we talked about last night, and that's rebranding. Now, if we're gonna
yeah.
rebrand Monique as this special needs,
I
crazy,
was
because
just
that's what it
going
is.
I was just gonna say like I do want because this is and even in my own personal life I'm trying to figure this out for me, right? I'm trying to
Hmm.
figure out is there space for a black woman to reinvent herself? We look at people
Hmm.
like Black China who is now into her new self of being Angela White,
Right,
right?
right.
We are never in a freedom, and especially me as a black woman. I don't feel like there's space for us to reinvent ourselves and say, okay, well, this is who I am, or this is my truth, or this is a part of me,
Hmm.
that I'm putting to the forefront. This is now what I'm becoming. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no held space for that unless we go either with the people who are okay with who want to hold that space, or we have to
Hmm.
create that space for our own. You see what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
like it's that type of like weird space, and I've always wondered like, can you reinvent yourself? I think if this is who she's presenting it, she has every right to present this to the world and say this is a part of me, this is who I am. And
Hmm.
of course, as regular people, we gonna either reject it or fuck with it. But I just feel like I want to give her the space that if this is what it is, then okay. Like I
I'm
don't
on
because
board
I
with
don't want to be in
that.
the space of like
I'm gonna give the
trying
people
to.
the space. I want, like she telling us to live our best. I want them to live their best lives too. And that's what was towards the end of the live yesterday. And that was the thing about, well, I think we're in the beginning, whatever case. But the transparency of it, because you have to find a space. Prince did it, Michael did it, Diddy do it, they do it. Now we talk about men. I don't know about women
Right.
so much. Now they're trying to rebrand Mary into some child loving author philanthropist. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
or ran Wendy into some weak, that's the thing, because it gets me so, I don't know, I don't know what the word is, but when I talk about women, I express um edify women, because if not for women, then what? And over history, it's always been the women, even from the Bible, the women started the bullshit, and then it was Queen Elizabeth and Victoria, and it was just women that caused all this destruction and stuff. Of course, there's notable men, but sometimes the bigger
They
focus
trying to make
of
it seem like
work
it was over and over a woman every time.
exactly,
Most.
and
Yeah.
that is takes me to one of my phrases or whatever I say, is that most times when they're pushing the one thing, you need to look at the other thing, and that's probably the thing you need to see. Because even in
Right.
movies, if you pay attention to movies, most times the villain is in the real world would be a hero, and the hero is most
Mm.
times the villain in the real world. And that's just the way the entertainment works, because it makes you about this thoughts in your head and keeps you more entertained, because or keeps you more entranced or involved, because you're trying to process, okay, well, that seems right, or he seems right, but he's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? So that mind fuck, the psychological games that the industry and the entertainment plays through these devices and on TVs and things like that,
Right.
to keep the money going. The fact that women,
I,
we talk about the women and the power and the things, and Monique in that comedy special talk about her being a boss bitch. She ain't made one boss move since, so you can't do that. And you can't, and that's the thing too about, and if it's gonna be black people, and whatever. But when it comes to rebranding black people, it's like sometimes the ease of it is negated by your urge to be a part of it. Kanye West,
wow.
and you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I did
Right.
so much. I fucked the Kardashian. I got a Baphomet tattoo. I pumped and primed and plumped and things to do all these things,
Yeah.
and they still didn't accept me. Now I'm rebranding. That don't work for me.
I mean, but what
At
else
least,
is she supposed to do?
at least
When you
she should fade
when
into black like everybody else do.
she should do
Not try
what?
to fade to black like everybody else do. Don't
But
you
how
don't
would she? But, that's
the money
but what?
coming in?
Okay.
Now you too good for the $2 million that you bringing in on OnlyFans? What is your rebrand?
So she might as well. So she might as well say, "Forget this brand new me. Just wing it and keep it and keep it moving because she losing money."
Her rebranding could be silent. Her money is coming in regardless. She don't need to be talking to Tamron. She don't need to be on CNN. She don't need, because all that's doing is bringing in the money. All of that stuff is orchestrated by Chris. But all of that's doing is like I said, a psychological game that you play in your head. Oh, but she looks, and I don't want to accept it, and I don't know because she's just like this, and you want to assess her past and compare it to her future and things like. And it's just so many things, and it's coupled with her statements, and you watched her, and you've seen her do this. You watched her with Tony, you watched her with Rob, you watched her with Tyga, you watched her with Kylie, you've seen these things. And I'm not saying your past can't be forgiven, but because you were never accepted the way that you want to, now you want to switch
Now
positions.
you want to switch up. Oh, I see what you're saying. I feel you. I feel
That's why I'm
you.
like, at least
It
with
could
Angela.
very well, and I be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt most times. But I mean,
Give no celebrity benefit of the doubt.
she could have sat this one out. She could have, because the
She could have said
videos are
this.
still gonna be running. The
The
OnlyFans is
what?
probably still gonna be active. I said because the videos are still gonna be out there. The OnlyFans are still gonna be active, so she could have kept it. I see what
She
you're
could have.
saying.
Now
She could have.
she's trying to act and be on Tubi. There was no reason. She tried to rap, wasn't doing it. Tried to act, wasn't doing it. Nikki put her in the video, wasn't hitting.
Wasn't hitting.
She got
Dang.
the body. She's Nikki's doppelganger. Got the whole thing and still don't have everything that she wants.
But
So now it's
everybody is not gonna fuck with you. That's my whole thing. That's at the end of the day. That's what I understand out of all of this shit. When I look at
yeah.
both sides, I'm thinking like everybody is just not gonna fuck with you. But I feel like if it's for the if it's for the income and you trying to switch for a career because you're trying to get some type of income, I mean,
She got
okay, but
that with Netflix. I mean, she got that with OnlyFans. And now you too good. You too good for that. You was complaining
yeah,
you didn't get the million from the Kardashians. You ain't get the money from Rob. Chloe got your daughter. Your mother's going crazy, and all of that mess. You bringing in $2 million a month off of OnlyFans, and it's like, nah, that's not it. That's not making me happy. And coupled with now, if we're going to take Monique's relatable content and her the situation and environment where she was raised, and mirror that against Black China, you could see why she might be a little distorted. Why she might, you know what I'm saying, and be confused about things because of her experience. But now, if you know the way, if you watch a little Dateline, you watch a little something, you know what I'm saying, you know that the ability to be manipulated is increased tenfold when you come from a broken situation. So
fact.
Monique too, but Black
Mhm.
China came from the situation that she was in, and her mother probably with the same eager urge and hunger to be a part of the industry, grows up in this tumultuous situation,
Tumultuous, yep.
and and then finds herself placed. She's been placed in some of the highest profile situations and family of this time. And
Right.
she's never one of the girls. She was a friend,
Yeah.
Maybe for a spirit of a piece of a time until Kylie started fucking Tyga. And then she was on shit's she was down shit's creek since then. And now all of this stuff, and then she's like she never everything every attempt to try to gain some type of notoriety or even branch out and do her own thing just was never seen all the way through because
Hmm.
they didn't put the energy behind her or because she didn't have the energy to do it. I'm not exactly sure. But when Nikki talk about take the race to China, just the race with China, girl, the people you should YouTube, because YouTube you get on, you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
just run, you get to the place, and that's the thing. When things like that don't happen, like yesterday, I'm just saying how things just make sense, and that don't make sense. So for it to not to make sense, and but to be so simple at the same time, is somebody high the fuck up. Like you're not, this is not what you're doing. This is what we need you to do, which I think happens with Khloe Kardashian. You're not gonna find a man that's gonna love you. You're not gonna have the thing. You're not gonna have a beautiful marriage and the long standing thing. And you're not gonna be going. You're not gonna have the on and off, not the on and off, but like the Chloe, the Courtney thing, where you got a man and then he's this, but you guys are together, or you don't understand, or he's so involved in the family and things like that. No, you have to do this baby mama black association thing. You know what I'm saying? That keeps because, like I said,
Right.
Chloe is my favorite. Chloe is my favorite, not because her black affects, but because of
Yeah.
maybe the relatable content of the men dealing and the things and her look and being the odd man out and things like that, the middle child or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. I identify with that. But I obviously recognize the part that Chloe plays in that family, and that's to the black people. Kim going they're all gonna date the black men, they're gonna do the things, not Chloe, not Courtney. Courtney don't like black men. I don't know. But they're gonna date the black men because they need the black juice to make the black babies, and that's the whole thing. But there's no reason Chloe shouldn't be able to find a man that love her like Kanye loved Kim, or Scott loved Courtney, you know what I'm saying? Or Travis loved
Yeah, yeah.
Kylie.
She don't have to stay with him or even want him around. That's why I'm just like, I don't why is you doing all this, girl? Like I do be
Because
giving
that's
her the side
that's
eye.
what Chris wants. My whole thing is I have my theories and my perceptions and things like that. I just want to know when the meetings happen and how they get the
Yep.
information too. Like we were talking yesterday, somebody asked yesterday, do you think celebrities get the information, know more or get the information or know more than what we know or know things before we know them? I said, absolutely. How it happens, you have to know because this is what's going to happen here. That's going to happen. And 3 months down the line, this is going to be the setting. So I need you to write a song like this and do the song like that and things like that because this is what's going to be happening around this time. You know what I'm saying? Because how coincidental is it? Is that songs come out and this is what's happening and things like that. Whether they make the song the week before and put it out, and I think that's a quick turnover, but most times they're writing the things out and they produce the songs and they put them out and it just seemed to happen to have fit. But the song was written a year ago or whatever the case may be. And a lot, like, all of that to say that a lot
Because
of
it
this
ain't, it
shit.
ain't, it ain't no princes out here. Ain't nobody who out here got a whole chest full of songs and just whip out on the whim.
No,
That ain't happening.
seriously, seriously, or even
It's really that.
to that point, to that is not okay. You got a whole catalog of things that you could put out at any time, but it's not talking to the time. You know what I'm saying? It might be talking to a feeling, whatever the case may be. Music comes in all shapes and forms. But when you're talking about the racism and the things and the things and the things, and then Monique now talking about self-identification and things like that on the heels of identifying as LGBTQIA and living in your truth is
But you
now
got
becoming
right,
important and
but
political.
so what's the aim then? Are you to be relatable to people or be authentic to yourself?
Wait, say
Or
that
you
again.
swing that so what's the aim when you're a person who wants to be a content creator, you got this gift, you're a comedian, you're this, you're that. What is the
Hmm.
thing? Should you be relatable to people or should you
You're
just
that's
be
the struggle.
authentically who you
That's
are
the
or
struggle. If
swing
nobody,
or dodge or you know what I'm saying, double ditch, back and forth between the two because it just seems like you doomed if you do, doomed if you don't on both sides.
that is the struggle. I talked about that yesterday in my delivery. I said, y'all, I can come on here and give y'all 3 second videos on TikTok about some shit that you done watched 4 times past. Because if you like my stuff, you getting everybody's stuff that you get like I do it. So the three scrolls done went by and just everybody talk about the same thing. I don't want to be that fourth scroll and it's like, oh, let me scroll past them because I done heard this already. So my delivery and also too, my whole thing always from the beginning before I even got on social media was an in-depth look of how the entertainment industry looks.
or how it works.
Mhm.
And that's my angle, that's my thing. And you have to be able to you have to find your angle, you have to find your niche, you have to know how you want to deliver something because
Mhm.
you're influenced by this and you have to find your identity. If nobody comes to you, like I feel like some of these things, some of these people that come out with these blogs already have these sustainable relationships, like Jason Lee. You know what I'm saying? As I was already
Yeah.
in the game before he even started talking about the game. So that sort of thing. You end up coming in and now you've been handled and things like that, and you know what to say because you've been in the situation and people have told you things like that. So you have a better blueprint about how you want to do your things. But if you're coming off the cuff like me, you don't know exactly, you know what I'm saying, how you want to do it, what you want to do. Do you appeal to the people? Do you want to be yourself and things like that? And that is a struggle of content, period. But when you somebody like when you have a brand, your content comes effortlessly, especially with Monique, considering she was a comedian. I don't know what her kids look like, things like
Right.
that. And then when she started doing the
I gotta
workout thing, that right
I
there
gotta go
was,
back in the archives. I'm like, where are these kids? I'm pretty sure they grown by now.
at least they
But
probably at least 20 something. Um,
right. In
they're
college.
I think she got the twin boys and maybe another son. I think she has three sons. But you
Hmm.
know, we don't see much of them. I'm not saying we need to get into your life. But when you sit there and talk about you can't make no money or people is blocking your money because you talk about Tyler Perry and fucking Lee Daniels, but there's so many other ways to make money, especially because you done made so much money. I know you have a subway somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I know you got a storage unit somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I know
And
you have
that
money
and
coming.
that okay, but hold on, I'm interrupting this, but to this point though, these are the things that I feel like I would have loved to hear out of Monique.
Yeah.
So number one, I would love to know the dynamic at home because she didn't give me enough by just telling me, yeah, he's my daddy, he raised
Got
me.
into
That's
an open
okay, fine. You
relationship
said that
because
before.
it's my fault.
Huh?
That's what she, also the way I heard her say, got into the open relationship because I was scared to tell my man, the one that I'm bringing the bacon home to, that I wanted to have sex with a woman. If I'm a boss bitch and I'm bringing home the bacon,
Right,
I'm bringing the bitch home too. Okay, this is
right.
what we fucking do. Period.
But you okay, but then okay, let me play devil's advocate with this though, right? If you coming home to a man who's, I mean, because ultimately it goes both ways. You coming home to a man who don't really know nothing, don't think he know anything about the LGBTQ. He don't, you know what I'm saying? You probably hear him say things, different things, or look, you don't want to tell them. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't know how
I'm
they're
never,
going to
I'm
react to
never
the
with a man
situation.
that dismiss lesbianism ever, ever.
There's a until now I've seen this. They okay with
Hmm.
it until they think that y'all over here trying to go against him. If it's not towards him, if it's not for his end, then he ain't
Hmm.
with it. That's what I feel like, and I feel like that's for most men. If they can't capitalize off or they can't get anything out of it, they don't want to do shit. They don't care what it is. That's my
Hmm.
personal thing. Like it's just that what it is. But I don't. I honestly feel like if you don't know how people are going to, and that's with anybody, because it wasn't okay. Fine, she didn't tell her, so she didn't probably tell her husband, right? Because maybe
Hmm.
her mother was gone. You see what I'm saying? Like people just don't want to tell people stuff. So I could get that. And granted, she said that he was her daddy, right? That seems like that's a reverence thing and a fair thing, and you don't want to tell this person this new thing that that you know what I'm saying, someone that you revere, that you admonish, something that you're ashamed of. She was ashamed of this at this point in her life. At least that's how I got it.
That's what it seemed like. Well, she was ashamed. She, she was ashamed of it, but she
Yeah.
owned and because of her grandmother. She was ashamed of it because of her grandmother. Now you got all these. You talk about this gay uncle and this gay aunt all around you. So you know, you talk about people living their truth. So people were living their truth around you. People living their truth ratchet, and people living their truth cussing, and people living their truth all whatever they doing around you, Monique, down in Baltimore or wherever she's from, and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um. So now you're now you so held back by the fact that you might want to tip a little pussy. And I don't sit here and tell me that you 40 something years old, 50s, 40 something at the time, probably, you know what I'm saying? She's
And that's what
53
I'm
now.
saying, because this was with
40,
Sydney, right? It was her third
yeah,
husband. It was around Sydney. So
exactly.
you was
You're not gonna tell me that
grown at the time,
you 3 husbands in, and this is the first time you sitting there telling
and
you
you don't.
scared
Right,
that you scared to tell somebody that
right.
you want to get snatched. That's not
But
working
she
for me.
did say when she saw her when she saw, I'm gonna call her name Tina because she didn't put that uncle there. No, she's Tina is what her name until she knew otherwise. So Tina, she was she was homeless, drunk. She had all these things or whatever.
To the
Maybe her
grandmother.
seeing that was like, okay, I'm not gonna walk into my truth because if people don't like me, I'm gonna end up like my aunt.
That could be true too. Obviously, to look to see that, and whatever will be interesting is the point where Monique realized that her as an adult, or I guess well, maybe we have to see when the damn when the grandmother died to really make that
Right.
make sense. Because if Monique was 35 years old and the grandmother died, it's not still not working for me. It's still not
Yeah.
working for me.
I mean, but like I said, maybe these are, that's what I'm saying. I feel
She
like
done
these
been
are
through the
parts of
secrecy
her and
before.
we still leave there not knowing nothing. You know what I'm saying? You had this whole hour special. We don't know anything. Okay, so that whole, and I also want to know the dynamic of her home a lot more than just you were, I no. I also want to dive into her experiences as a big girl. And I also want her, I think as a big girl, I think she should have shouted out some big girls. You came in there, you know what I'm saying? Fuck these skinny bitches. I needed for you to one of all the big girls be the most advocate, and then I need you to speak about that because I feel like she could have had, even though I guess she's done something similar, but I think doing this in a brand new fashion, and then you up in big girls in a time where like they're everywhere, and it's all of these expansion, and it's coming to a point to where we're all body positive. You need to be speaking on this time because you were speaking on it when wasn't nobody into it. When these were literally just ha that fat bitch. No one cared. No
Really
one
wasn't a
gave a damn.
thing. It was a movement.
Yeah. It was,
Hmm.
but at its time, it was revolutionary because of the fact that people were listening. It was something that was big. It was something new, but they looked at it like But little did they know, years coming up, you would have a Lizzo, and she would be fuck you bitches, backing it up like you know what I mean. It's you never know that. So I wanted her to speak on that, and I also want her to speak on. It's something missing about this whole piece when it comes to Oprah and her that I
For
just
sure.
it's something I'm missing, and I wanted to have her touch on that. If she would have talked about the industry a lot more and her experiences,
She ain't gonna talk about the
I,
industry no more, and she ain't gonna talk about that Oprah and Lee Daniels thing no more.
it's listen. She don't have she don't have to listen. She don't have to talk about it, but she also needs to talk about. Okay, if she don't want to talk about them, then talk about the close people. She had a lot of close relationships with people. I want to know how it was to be on the set of what was that movie with her?
Oh,
It
the
was
Christmas
her,
movie.
Vivica. Well, yeah, that'd be cool. Cause see, I also want to know how she is with what she feels about different comedians in the game. I think if she would have touched on that, I think I would have been entertained with that because that would have been a little bit of tea, and I know she got some funny bits about that. I feel like that'd be some funny shit. But um,
I can see that. To get, like I said, it got to be a movie coming up, or it's got to be maybe another Netflix special
it
to
got
give the people a little bit
yeah.
more, just to, seriously,
But this,
Nova,
I
why
feel
you
like
say,
this got to be good. Like if the numbers is if the same reviews is about this, I don't think they're gonna be interested in doing anything else
no, and then,
unless
like I
it's
said,
scripted.
that just discredits everything that has been going on, and it discredits this resume that you have, as expensive as it is, and as heavily decorated as you are. This, like we said, it just didn't give what was supposed to have been given, and that's the problem that I have with that. Amidst all the other things, like I said, the relatable content doesn't go unnoticed, and everything like that. All of that's great. You know what I'm saying? But uh, there could have been like, um, and that's the thing. With my name is Monique. I'm like, well, why the hell did she name the thing My Name is Monique? But I had to wait an hour and 15 minutes to realize, this is why the thing is called My Name is Monique. but it just could have been more like an intimate gathering or an intimate setting, or you get to know Monique. Not the title of it, but that's
Yeah.
how it could be marketed. You know what I'm saying? So somebody's like, okay, well, I might. So I go in knowing I'm going to learn about Monique when she was 7 and 13 and 22 and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Not like
Why
only
do
women
all
and
this?
skinny
Why
bitches
do
are
all the special
evil.
need to be in these big ass arenas and shit? Like they don't. You don't even need
So
that.
that place didn't seem too big, and that's the thing. But that's like you said, if Monique do a show in Baltimore, the people in Baltimore and all the surrounding
It's
areas
coming.
are going to come to the
Yeah, they
show.
coming.
That's
Yeah.
just what they're going to do.
Right.
And Monique don't have no problem locking down no show before this. After she had no problems locking down, getting the people in the room, putting them in the chairs and
Right.
everything. No problems doing that. Netflix was like, you gonna cuss a lot and you gonna do this dumb shit and what you gonna do on this thing to bring these white people in here. Because the thing about her cussing is that, like I told my guy daughters, I said, you don't, you sound better using real words other than cuss words.
Yeah.
You sound better using real words other than cuss words in your conversations and everything like that, because it just lands better. You sound more educated. You don't sound like a ghetto bitch in the street, and that appeals to white people. That appeals to Middle Eastern people. That appeals to Asian people, not just black people. And that's the thing too. The market should always be including everybody. You can't just appease it.
But
Like you said,
but it's
you
not gonna
can't just
do that when
appease
you got to be a certain
black
way.
people.
If but that's not what I'm saying. That's not gonna happen if you have to be a certain model way. That's never going to be you because when you are around certain people, you'll freely be a certain way. If you're reserved in those certain settings because now you got people in the comments and then on social media talking about you a coon. You know what I mean?
What
So
was
I mean you
I
it's a
don't
catch
think it
22.
that title and crown and scepter and sash goes to Chris Rock. But
Obviously.
I think Monique, back to the point of her not being happy where she is, when you frustrated is when you cuss the most. And I get up here and write these things. Now you done sat with Sydney and y'all done wrote all these cuss words in here. Besides skinny bitches and evil and occasional nigga and a bitch or an ass
But
every now and then,
that's
it should
I've
be some
always
real
known her to
it
cuss,
should be
so
a
that never
comedy.
bothered me. But I've always known her to cuss. It was just it needed
You
to be
always
more
need to cuss.
jokes with the cussing.
If you grew up in a setting where the cussing is common and things like that, it's not off-putting to people. It's not, but it is off-putting to some people because a cuss word every third word is a bit much sometimes, especially when you fucking and the way she delivers the thing, which she thinks are punchlines. But I'm 40 now and cussing isn't funny. You know what I'm saying? So you got to bring that a certain type of. You got to shift that, shake that up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Add in a different word. Throw in a fucking SAT word. That might be funny. That sort of thing. Because
Yeah.
now we can cookie cutter her delivery, but the appearance, the overall appearance is not the same thing.
Yeah, it's
Because
not.
now you're
Yeah.
cussing to keep that old fan base. Or if I cuss, they'll still love me. No, you cussing on Netflix and people might be turned off by that. Or your money might start going down. And ain't that the biggest gotcha? Netflix, yep, we give you all these things and things like that. And now you lost people because now you're not as
Yeah.
funny. All you do
And
is
God
cuss.
forbid that the one thing, right? It'd be the one thing that they don't necessarily care about as long as it gave the laughs it was supposed to. She could have did as much cussing as she wanted to as long as she gave a laugh.
Exactly.
She didn't put it in with enough laughs so it doesn't and they don't like you really cussing on like that anyway because they have this whole stigma of black women and their speech and all this type of stuff. Black people in general and they speak. And so, yeah, it's like you cussing, we let you do it because we thinking you gonna bring the money. Now you ain't bringing none.
The
So
only motherfucker they like cussing white people is Samuel L. Jackson's ass, but he's a coon. Bernie Mac cussed a lot too. They killed him. Monique better get it together. And that's the thing
they
about her
don't
being in
say
history.
that.
You should already know these things.
They don't say they did that. Don't. You really think they did that? Oh, don't say
Child.
that. Because I was like, oh, when he had the heart, I wasn't even trying to read much into it. I was not
Well,
gonna do that.
let me close
I
this
was not
up.
gonna do that.
Bernie Mac died. I took a moment daily for Bernie Mac for years. You hear me? It took me by surprise. It was unexpected. I was just falling in love with Bernie Mac real bad. Okay, real bad, and he was dead.
Yeah.
I took a moment.
Right.
This is no exaggeration. When I would think about Bernie Mac, I would take a moment. I would take a moment because they took him from us. Wasn't no reason. Ain't no
They
reason we
took
shouldn't still
him
be
from
laughing
us.
at Bernie Mac. Ain't no reason why we shouldn't still be laughing at Bernie Mac at all.
There's no reason. He didn't
Sorry
even
for
look like he
indulging.
should be even having. But I feel the same. Then okay, then Tommy Strong.
Hmm.
They killed. You trying to tell me that they unalive my? They unalive Tommy?
Listen, and that's what I'm saying about they
Oh, you
you
breaking my
know
heart.
they shelf or kill they shelf the people that we've grown to love in this respective space, and then they kind of push in these new things. You know what I'm saying? And now it's you not even push in, you get bombarded and overwhelmed, inundated with this new talent they think it supersedes this classic talent. No, because Summer Walker and all of them could get up and chirp all they want, but if you're not gonna give me '90s R&B like SWV and Escape, then we're
Yeah.
not really talking about the same thing.
Oh, have you already talked about that? Have you already had a live about that
Well,
already?
actually, I think we kind of talked a little about them yesterday, last night. But go ahead, what you gonna
Okay,
say?
can I? I don't like
Of
Tasha.
course, it can kill. See,
I don't like
'cause
her.
Like Monique, Bernie Mac was like probably like, I'm not about to do that shit for free. Oh, y'all motherfuckers got me motherfucking fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. And they're like, well, okay, you not malleable. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That sort of thing. And then what they did was make all this money off of him before they.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah,
That's
what you
hurting
gonna say
my
about the
heart
dude?
that you said because I literally just I chalked it up till he had a heart attack. I was like,
It's
oh
easy.
man, because he was
But
older. I was
I
like,
told the
oh
people too. If ever all these celebrities, if it's not from cancer, it's from a heart attack. Period.
man, oh you got my see. I don't because now I got to go back in the archives. Now now you got me mad. I got to go
That's why I
really
put the
dig
money
into
for
it
Bernie
because
Mac daily. Daily. That is no exaggeration. I would just be doing something totally random, sitting on a toilet, doing a dish, picking my nose, and I'll be like, Bernie Mac, Lord.
Bernie Mac. Every time now
Lord.
I'm gonna be really feeling so I'm like, damn, Bernie Mac. Oh, but okay. So yeah, I don't like Tasha. I don't like her. She and we know like
Tasha K?
I huh?
Oh, Tasha SWV, mean
Yes,
SK. Okay, okay.
yeah.
I
I
haven't watched
don't
this
I
yet,
don't
but I
you
haven't.
haven't
Well,
watched it?
let me tell you what how I talked about it yesterday. I don't give a
Mm-hmm.
rat's ass about what Candy, Tasha Tamar, Tiny. No, I don't care what about any of them is doing because, in the same spirit of my common thread is that everything is timing. Everything Candy is doing, all this work that she's doing, offering up her kids and things like that, and then trying to, if she's not gonna put her back into resurgent R&B, then all of this shit is for nothing. Like this don't do nothing. It don't do nothing for me. So I haven't given it much. I don't even know exactly what her and Tamar was arguing about, and I don't know
Yeah,
whether
and that stuff was dumb to me.
this
I don't even care for that. I don't care for that either because it was stupid. And then it's just like Tamar, why is you? We was expecting you to be turned over a new leaf and things,
Tamar trying to
girl.
tell
Like
people to sell somebody that she changed. Ain't nothing changed. She might got some. Ain't nothing changed. She just trying to
I
get
be
this
trying to.
single sold.
You was just killing all of my optimism.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. London did it, and he apologizes. I'm sorry, but that you're not gonna do it because that's the timing. That's the timing of it.
Yeah.
Candy wants people to watch this show, and Tamar want people to do this thing to buy this single. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Candy and Tamar probably see each other shit whenever Candy's in town. I'll say that. Whenever
Right,
Candace
because
kind of
they
comes
live right around.
to
They know where each other stay at. She's in L.A. now. Tamar in L.A. But I'm pretty sure the girl they used to live right around the corner from each other. That's why I'm just like, why does this have to fall out on social media and on a thing as opposed to you going and having a conversation?
Exactly.
That's what real people, that's what we do. But we sitting there, but we sitting there getting into it like my dumb ass. I'm like, this is, well, I didn't even get into that. I'm like, oh, y'all stupid, get over it. The thing that
Right.
pissed me off was this whole show with the SWV thing. That whole dynamic with and it's mainly because of the fact of the dynamic with Tamika and Latasha. Their
Mm-hmm.
family dynamic is real. Like, I don't. She need to pay her money because she owes, like, it's there, girl. You took the girl money, give it to her, and it's just like she's gonna literally just keep digging. And I'm like, girl, just give her the money. Like, I just be like, nah. And then you over here trying to cross over into this guy. I'm like, we don't need no more. We got enough over there in the Christian world. We don't need no more bad apples, girl. Don't we? Stop it, stop
No,
it.
please. No, please. And then and that's the thing too. Black people, and then the religious undertone and things like that. And it's like, girl, you done did all of this, havoc causing, and you are one of the seven deadly sins. Not, proud, and
Greed,
you want to be
envious,
seen and greedy
proud.
and all this stuff, and now
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make
girl.
sense.
Covetous. I'm pretty sure that's one
Yes.
of them. Yeah, you
Yes.
doing all of this, like, girl, you gotta stop. Like, you can't come into the game like that, because your content, I'm gonna be disingenuous. I'm gonna listen and be like, oh, these are good
Not the
vocals.
cheating on her
Like,
because
nice
she's in an
sound.
adulterous relationship, and now you want to sing to the Lord. No, she need to sing. She need to have
Yeah,
a
no,
private
girl,
session.
no, no, because we got enough of that. We got enough of that over here in the Black gospel land. We done already done the onions been done put on a lot of people. Kim Burrell, baby girl, girl.
You need to get me started on Kim
You can,
Burrell.
you can.
Big
It don't matter
Burrell,
how many octaves you can go, no matter how many times you can run, baby.
not Big Jack
I'm not
Burrell.
gonna follow you because you might run me right on into hell. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Ooh, and you all right there? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No,
It's all a
ma'am.
mess. It's all a mess. And then that's the thing. They want the people to subscribe to that. They want the people to envelop themselves in that and everything. And I'm very cautious. Not cautious, but I guess you could say I'm cautious. But I've come to a point now, one, in my consumption of the media, and two,
Yeah.
the fact that I've now kind of, well, not kind of, but I get on here and I talk my shit about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. It's about what I find, what I deem pertinent, valuable, you know what I'm saying, with a little entertaining and things like that and stuff like that, and how it fits into into the things that I have talked about and stuff like that, and a lot, everything kind of comes together. But that's not one thing, because that don't do, because I don't watch that. I don't watch Candy's spinoff. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if you're not gonna put all the R&B divas together. I don't care about Coco. I don't care about that. I don't care
I
about
don't.
Sultan. I don't care about none. I don't. That's for me.
Right. I
And
feel
being
you. I
removed
feel
from
you.
that
I
thing
feel you.
to let you be more.
But it only relates to the people it relates to because they're going through the same shit though. You see what I'm saying? They going through all of these different family dynamics, and then people are coming home thinking about it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why reality TV, all of these things are doing. It fuels the algorithm to have conversations, and then now you get people with all these long ass think pieces and stitches and videos and all this dang on content. And yes, Kim Burrell sing you Boop,
All of
bam, right, you're right in hell. You're right
no,
there.
seriously,
Exactly.
a mess. And that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. But for sure, if they give it, if you latch onto it, they will produce more of it.
Yep.
And listen, like I said, if Candy ain't, which they
We
could,
control the algorithm.
they could, because especially if Candy's
Yeah.
still writing these songs, I don't know if Candy don't got no time to do nothing. Okay, she's always in front of a damn camera,
Yeah.
girl. She get out the bed
When
and
do
get.
you write? When do you produce? When do you run businesses?
When do you mother your children?
When do you mother your children?
That part. That part.
Period.
Very simply put.
Period.
When do
Yeah.
you mother your
Because you
children?
got to do both, boss woman. You got. I mean, another
And
dynamic.
you be like,
How
okay,
have you been a boss and then a boss in your home, Monique?
no,
That would have been a good thing to talk about.
seriously, I was Candy. she got to, to think on it and stuff like that. I was like, okay, so this is what she did. She got to think on it. Okay, she good, and the shy is all breaking things like that. And then she do something else. And now this show with SWV and things like that. And the shy about to come out again. But then you
Right.
got Riley coming out here, and at the same time, you send an A City things, and Blaze will probably be in the auditions as well too. So now
Mm-hmm.
that is how everybody gets grandfathered into the industry and knows
Right.
inconsistency in parenting. This is how you get your money. This is the grind, and that distorts the whole
Yeah.
mentality and things like that. So that when somebody comes to you and says, "This is what we need you to do," you say, "Okay, cool, I got that like that." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now you sit out here acting like how you not acting. Because who the hell, besides Riley being on the show, things like that, she seemed introverted, mild mannered. Don't think, you know what I'm saying? She might turn
But she does
a
have
little
her
bit.
own platform too, which I think is what's this next AB, whatever's after Z now, after this whole generation. But that whole generation after them, they're gonna be the ones, you
No, seriously,
know, generating everything and like having podcasts. So they'll be on there telling their life story on them. Paid platform. Yeah.
exactly that. And if we talk about, yes, because last night we talked about everything. I was on live 8 hours last night. Very common. But we talked about Blue Ivy. And I said Blue Ivy is going to do a business plan. She's not about to be bucking and singing like her mother. She's going to be business. Blue Ivy is going to be the Clarence
I
Avant,
feel
I
that
feel
too.
like, of this Z generation coming up and things like that. She will probably have the Joe Rogan podcast and things like that, and have orchestrate and put her fingers in these things. And that's what's coming up with Riley, with um, you probably like what you call its kids too, like Dame Dash's kids, all of those kids that were on those shows. You see, like Romeo is out here doing things and stuff like that too. These kids are coming up, pushing out these older people and making a
Yeah.
space for them. And then when those younger generations, like the Norths and the Blue Ivies, come up, it's going to be a completely different thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because everything will be a bit more advanced, and they will be looking for certain types of things. And now, when you can be able to sit and have a conversation or interact with Blue Ivy, that would be
That would be
through the
amazing.
moon.
I'm
Okay.
man, I'm sure she's an intellect. I feel like she has to
Oh, see,
be.
that would be, they already speak three languages and everything like that. Beyonce do a lot with them kids. She gets somebody to do a lot with them kids.
I mean, shoot, figure it out. No, I don't care how you do it. Hook, crook, or crook. Prepare them. That's all you need to be
Most
doing.
definitely. She definitely is preparing them. The nannies speak different languages, and they teach the children those languages and things like that. I think she speaks Italian fluently and stuff like that. So
But do they
put
know
that
their mother? That's what I want to know. How are you,
and
mommy? I mean, they be affectionate on live, but is they, you know, how is their dynamic? I want to know that too. I really
let me
love to
tell you,
know how
because
Bobby is a mom.
you can't nurture effectively without taking the time. You
Yes,
know, you have to be
yes,
there. You know what I
yes.
mean? You can't, because Beyonce and Kim, I'm sure many celebrity parents have binders for nannies. This is what you do. This is what time, and this is where we go, and this is what they eat. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
You could implement all the plans and all the guidelines and all the rules and things like that. But if you're not there to see it through, then you're not the
Yeah.
dominant force. Your goals are, but you're not the one that the child, responds to
Mhm.
when it's time to implement those things.
So
So
they old in their older years, they end up resenting the parents because you weren't there. You know what I'm saying? This,
And
you know,
how often do we see that in movies and shows? How often
yeah,
do we see that?
yeah. hmm How
So
often
I
do we know that from the stories of our own past? We nurse a lot of these palm colored people's babies. I'm
and
trying
I,
to be
and I
nice
don't,
with
it's
trying to be
things that
nice
people
to
don't
Tiki
get enough
Tiki.
attention. No, don't be nice. We're not nice. There's a lot of things that don't get enough attention, and that's one of them. Because I don't think child trafficking as a whole, and also the fact that boys, little boys, are trafficked too. They always just girls traffic,
hmm
girls traffic, girls traffic.
Boys are the same.
The Catholic Church is full of pedophilic men, that
hmm
homosexual pedophilic men. What the fuck?
Yeah.
When they trafficking girls, you don't think that they gonna traffic the boys too? So I don't think that
Yeah.
gets talked about enough. And things like that, and that's kind of I like to pepper in things like that because those are let's if we're gonna be awareness, if drag is is distorting the children's mind and causing them to be things that they wouldn't normally be, then let's talk about where these kids and how these kids is end up missing
Yeah.
for all these years, no resolve, and parents don't make no big deal about it. Because let me tell you, you take my kid, I'm gonna talk about it to the day I'm gone. Okay, if I don't never find it, and that's just, but you don't see things like that. Even kids in the school shooting. If you shoot my child in the school, I'm gonna be at every courthouse, every
Right.
gun law,
Yeah.
NRA. I'm gonna be where I need to be to make sure something happens so that this thing don't happen again.
About
Which kind of
mine,
goes back
period.
into what
I
kind of goes back
said,
into the thing with the Damar, whatever his name is, the football player, the Buffalo Bills player that fell down and the whole
yeah.
thing and shared the threes and the things and the things and the
Hmm.
things. And now he's involved with getting AEDs in classrooms because 7,000 undiagnosed heart cases go unnoticed every year and
Right.
children die or things like that. And it's like, well, what the first of all, why did I have to take some random ass football player that's don't nobody fucking know from Buffalo? I mean,
Right.
all the shit because I'm from Buffalo, all the shit that has been going on there. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. Why did it take this football player to
Hmm.
take his situation over to a classroom for 7,000 like that doesn't make sense. It
That
doesn't
doesn't
make
make sense
sense.
at all.
Which goes
Yeah.
back to the whole Demar thing being scripted. It was
Mhm.
orchestrated. And to then make this an issue to whether we distracting or whether they really legislate change or whatever the case may be, I don't know. But that had to we couldn't have had this without that. So we needed
Right.
this to happen to bring this about. So now we're not functioning in like organic, we're not functioning in the practical, we're not functioning in things that just are, natural. We are in the system. We are in the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
And I think
A
that's the first place to
programming.
be. That's
Yeah.
definitely the program. It's the first thing to acknowledge. And then you acknowledge what part you play in the system. I am rebellious. I am divergent. And
Yep.
that is the thing. And coupled with all this information and things, that's what we talked about too last night, is like, every time you watch something, it seems like they're dropping a little bit more information, a little bit more information, a little something they wouldn't normally say, or with something that we haven't heard over the course, over the past years and things like that. And even with the information, people still, that's the hold that they
Yeah.
have on us with these things. Even with
Yeah.
the information that peeks out and it seeps out or is placed right in front of your face, people are still blind to it and choose not to
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Yeah. People definitely. It has to be bliss, apparently. I mean, unless you love to
I,
self-destruct, because I mean, the truth is hurting you too. Like it's
Mhm.
hurting us internally and worldly, and people don't understand that until it really affects them in a way that they can't come back from. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like these real cute. You know what I'm saying? These real cute things y'all doing. These real cute conversations that people having. But when the Anunnakis come and they flip this bitch into motherfucking World War Z, what are we going to do? You see what I'm saying? We don't think about that collectively. And it's frustrating to me because of the fact that I get it. I feel like I get it and understand certain things, but I
Mhm.
feel in the space of being minute, like a very small rock in a pond. You see what I'm saying? A very, very small rock. Colorful even. But I'm in this pond. You would have to look a certain way. You would have to really be looking for me to get it. That's the whole thing. It's like a lot of people are really just really small pebbles in a pond. And
We all small pebbles in a pond. Neil deGrasse Tyson tell us that all the time. Small pebbles in a pond shrink down to earth and be smooth as a marble. I still can't get that one. But he say that all the time because even outside of your house is bigger. Outside of your
yeah,
city is bigger.
yeah,
Outside your
yeah,
state is bigger. Outside your
yeah.
country is bigger. You get outside this fucking planet, it's
It's bigger. Yeah.
it's
Colossal.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to find the big word. It's
Mhm.
gargantuan. It's infinite.
Infinite. Yeah.
So
It
you
is.
can't now you find your place, in high school you the top thing and you got a bad bitch, or what I'm saying,
Mhm.
as the thing when you find your place, you be whatever. And that's just the way the world works. You find your place, you get your niche, you do the thing, what I'm saying, catch your vibe. But at the
Mhm.
same time too, and that's the thing, like people, celebrities, a little bit of obnoxious, but that's you so self-centered that you
Yeah.
function and you surround yourself with people that fuel that narrative of yours that you create, you know what I'm saying, you build up this wall and then you're able to, you know, maneuver in those ways. If you're never self-centered or surround yourself with the people or they enable you to, then you find yourself trapped or you find yourself overwhelmed by some of the things that happen because it's like, well, I try to do
Yeah.
this and this, and I try to do that and that didn't happen. I do this
Try
and
to do
I
that,
have
it didn't work. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Until
it's like, well,
until you become center. I think people, and this is the thing that I think left people going crazy during this whole pandemic situation was because of the fact that people didn't know how to sit down and be somewhere and be stationary. It drove people crazy. And with me, I'm sitting here like, damn, I wish I could. I was one of those essential workers. So it wasn't no sitting down for me. But even when I caught a moment of sitting down, I'm like, oh, this ain't that bad. And it's just like, you need to be able to sit down and go, you know what? I like my solitude. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work with my solitude. I'm gonna work with the things around me, and that's what's kind of making me kind of be able to combat these feelings of I'm a small pebble in a big pond type of situation, because it's like you can only progress and expand what's in your space to expand. If you don't sit with yourself, you have no idea what you have. You have
mm-hmm.
no idea until you really get to those spaces of being able to like really center self. And I think we've understood that we've lost, and that's why social media has been such a booming in the situation, because of the fact that social media is our only way to connectivity. And now that it's the life is out here to be lived now in
Mm-hmm.
some type of kind of way. But at the same time, now it's like people are it's when you have crazy people being unalive out for crazy ass reasons. Why would you want to? We everything's high. Everything, bills still billing. Money ain't come. Like everybody's going through it, and it's just like, why do you want to be out there with those people? You could just be here. Like, and so it's a thing. But people hadn't gone through the space of really being able to center self and be able to
No.
have peace with self and be able to work with what they have and what when the universe is giving them, God giving them, however way you want to put it, they do not know. And now we're here. Like,
No,
I
we
don't
are
know.
here, and because we're
Yeah.
here, that's why people don't know how without a phone. You know what I'm saying? Without a television, even. You know what I'm saying? Without DoorDash, without, you know what I'm saying? And things, all these things that make life so easy or convenient or fill
Yeah.
that void, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, however you have created a void, however these things fill that void, they could pull us
Mhm.
further and further and further and further from the necessary tools so that when
Yeah.
the shit hits the fan and we are sitting here in The Walking Dead or
Yeah.
the fucking Last of Us, or the last, what is the Will Smith movie, or we sitting in that sort of situation because there's
I
too many of
robot.
these things for us not to know that some type
No,
of shit about,
emancipation. That's what that was.
huh?
I said emancipation. That's what it was. I
No,
about
no,
to say
not
I
not
robot.
Emancipation was good, but I'm talking about the Last Man, where he was in New York by himself.
And he had that dog. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forget what it's
So there's
called.
too many of these
I
end
Am
of the
Legend.
world
That's what it was.
movies. I Am Legend, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
There's too many of these end of the world movies. Now we're talking back to 2012 and probably before then. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
for us to be in that situation, coupled with all the ease of technology and things like that, to even to sustain in that situation, so that when the
Hmm.
shit hit the fan and these celebrities run into these $55 million bunkers in their
Yeah.
driveways over in fucking Colorado, and then they come out
Hmm.
of that shit 15 years later, we all gone because we didn't know how to fucking
Right.
build a
We
fire
clueless
or
as
things like that,
hell.
or don't use the videos we was watching on TikTok. How about that?
Right.
Because
Right.
somebody came out with a damn show and Tamar talking about some dumb shit.
the things that keep us in a whirlwind. That's what it is.
Really,
It's the
100%.
things that keep us fucked up.
That's the thing. And that when Monique talk about living yourself, if we bring it back to Monique, if she talk about living yourself, then living your true self, and that's the thing, you have to be able to accept who you are because you could live it, and if you but you don't
Yeah.
live it, you still find yourself just as lonely and in the bottom. You could be shiny as you want, but you'll still be crushed by the weight of the world because you don't accept what you can provide the world. You have to figure out who you are, make peace with it, and see where you fit in all those things. And that requires, moving. That requires switching up friends. That requires a little bit of
Yep.
work. I said this last night too. I said sitting and being still is easy. Showing up takes work.
Yep. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Showing up
Mm-hmm.
and being intentional, that takes
Being
work.
present.
That's tiring, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Being
And that's
present is
the
a
thing about
job all in of itself. Because at
no,
any point in time you can disconnect, or you have the it's easy to disconnect, and when you would think it wouldn't be, but it's very easy for people to be very disconnected. And so it's like you are always, it's always, you're always fighting to be present, because most places, I think I feel like most places